But have you also thought about what it will take to begin to do that investment that you talked about?
Oh, it's not hard at all.
I mean, wouldn't that require another setup of another commission or another infrastructure to begin to do the investment? Because there has to be...
Commitment is very important.
There has to be a studying. They have to study the terrain. They have to know where to invest. They need to know how to get back that investment, the return on investment and all of that. Don't you think that might also be another problem?
It's not a problem. You need the World Bank they are working with, they know how these things happen, okay? The bottom of the pyramid, the whole process and that economy is a distinct social science area in development. It was developed by some Asian, development thinkers. Dr. Prahalad, late. He's late now, but it's been taken over by the World Bank about this. Nigerian leadership, the elite must commit to it, not out of niceness. Again, that's part of the problem. I think the ruling elite, not this party, not this government, okay? Anytime I talk about governance in Nigeria, I'm not interested in it's APC today, it's PDP, RAPC, I'm not interested. I'm interested in governance as a phenomenon across the decades, that they are not interested in certain things. They are treating poverty, do you understand, as an ethical, mercy, sympathy issue. They are so poor, we should help them. That's good at some layer. They must treat poverty as an economic challenge. So if you have 180 million people, you have about close to 90% of them are poor at various levels, and you have about 30 million of that being ultra poor. They can't even mobilize up to $1 a day. What you've got is not a sympathy problem. You've got an economic transition challenge, okay? And if you have the commitment, number one. Number two, if the elites really, genuinely think about the poor as an economic potential asset, that if you can move 15 million pre-consuming population into a layer of consumption, do you understand? And then they are generating income too, okay? That you are actually building the foundation of the economy. I want to see an administration in this country, in my lifetime, that will commit to that. If you set up holding companies in the local governments, okay, and let Mr. and Mrs. Every Poor be the shareholder, okay, you will be able to start generating deliberate, okay, the day we are broke and we are not able to give this 5,000 a month, what are we going to do? And let me tell you, no one should say, oh, it's now you're going to do it. How are you going to give, if you give to 200 shareholders an opportunity, give them contract. In every local government, if government wants to do something in your local government, anything, whether it's federal, whether it's state, they give it to that company. 200, 300 people poor are the owners. Hold on, they are not going to build the bridges, they are not engineers. But remember, the billionaire in Lagos and Abuja is also not building the bridge. He calls in a technical project implemented. Am I correct? If you can do that with the same set of people every time, you can do it with millions of people across the country.
Right.
Commitment. We can plan to that detail. Everything she said about that's what I do for a living. And there are hundreds of thousands of Nigerians who do that for a living. We can plan anything once you are committed to the objective.
The point you made about transiting from poverty.
Yeah.
Much as, yes, she's explained how this money, this $322 million, ended up as going to go to the CCT because of the conditions that the UN suggested and how they needed to monitor, the World Bank being involved in that one. For you, now that she talked about us having a national social register, what do you expect of this register? Previously we talked about data in this country. How do we get credible, bankable data? Doesn't that say, for instance, having seen this data that they have, I think they say in July, you have several other states, I think now it's about 19 states on that register. Do you expect, or how should it play out? How many months, how many years after? Should we have the same people on that register, and for how long?
You see, that's the thing. If you're not transiting, I said when we were in the UN, we used to say the West just wants to help us, to be surviving grassroots poor people, okay? They don't want you to die under the weight of the poverty, but they really don't want to get you out there and begin to make you an active active agent of economic development. Now, these are two different things. Do you understand? It's like giving fish, or I don't know how they say, the Chinese thing, okay? Or I have a lot of my relations who come to me looking for money, okay? The best way to feel very good, to have power over them, psychological and otherwise, is to enjoy the fact that they keep coming and I give them, I transfer. We won't say it's sharing. I transfer and everything. But if I really want to help them, say, okay, what business do you want to do? Do you understand? And then we plan and help them invest in it so that they don't need me. Do you understand? It's very good for my ego that all of them are coming to me. But generally, if I'm thinking of the wider situation, I want people in my family not to need to come to me. I want them to also be in my situation, or their children. Yeah, then I will do differently than come every time. I also do that, by the way.
But when you say...
I give a lot of people 5,000, 2,000 every time.
But if you say it's to maintain that particular poverty situation, yeah. But there are social security programs in the West as well. Yeah. So why do you think that this is any different?
Thank you. In the West, you see, number one, you live in societies, right, that are socioeconomically functional. Okay, so you get, hey, I think my own children got child benefit growing up in England. Do you understand? No problem. But you see, those children have good education. You know, they have play school. They have this, that, and the other. The educational system is reasonable. They are not poor to anywhere near the extent we're talking about. Do you understand? The society is 60, 70, 80% middle class dominated. So most of them don't have this huge problem of transition, because Britain is not a pyramid. Switzerland is not. Norway is not. Do you understand? They are not pyramids. All right. They are diamond-shaped, which is to say most of society is packed in the middle. So you have these top little over-rich people, and you have, you know, the bottom like this, but most of society is in that huge middle. We are a pyramid, and that is the sure signal for long-term failure.